Okay, Richard, that time of year where our dishwashers play a starring role, we do not want them to let us down.
Right. A lot of dishes get dirty and need to be cleaned. Last year we talked about the disposer, you know, what not to put in around the holidays. We thought we'd do the same thing with dishwashers. So we always see them. I thought we'd take a little trip, sort of what's inside them. You know, the common complaints we get are that the water doesn't discharge or that the dishes don't dry. But I think you really have to know what's going on inside first. Okay, we always see this part. You know, you throw your dishes in, you set the button, you go away for 2 hours. It's got upper and lower racks. But what has to come to it is backstage. Let's tip this down.
Okay.
So in a tiny little space underneath, there's always a water supply line coming to here. This is to a solenoid valve right here. There's a discharge. This has to go to the drain. And there's an electrical connection has to come to here. Those are the three connections. So while we're under here, though, I want to talk about some of the parts that you might see above, but this is the motor that will drive the wash arm and it'll drive the pump ultimately. Here's the discharge valve that'll have the water leave to go to the drain. Underneath is this little check valve right here. You see it? And this is designed to flap to let discharge water go this way, but not let the water that might be coming from the disposer go this way. So that's an important device.
Gotcha.
Here's a float switch. You know that if there was a discharge, you want to make sure that the water doesn't continue to fill and come out, because this is not actually watertight. That door is not watertight. If the water got above that inner rim, it would leak onto the floor.
So once that little basin on the bottom fills up, the float says, kick the water out.
That's right. And then there is a heating element you can see right here with electrical connections right to here, okay? And you'll see that when we flip it back over. So those are the components. There's a control panel on the front. Let's tip this back up.
Okay.
There's a control panel on the front that has the wires that come down and that drive the whole bus, okay?
Right.
So the common complaint is the water doesn't discharge. Okay.
I'm going to clamp this in place so it doesn't get tippy on us here.
So you got water down in here, and so when you first say, let's wash, it comes on, it brings hot water into it, fills this lower basin, and it washes with these rinse arms that spin around. It will wash the dishes and drive food down to the bottom. So now we have to get in that first cycle, you have to get that dirty water out of the dishwasher. So you know, you hear the thing open and close. And so oftentimes we find, just grab that disposer, Kenny.
This guy here?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You're a nice, beautiful cutaway.
Okay. So the discharge line comes from the dishwasher to the disposer, and it often has to come into the side port right here.
Right.
So if this disposer was filled with food, it would block it. But much more often, it is this line that might be clogged.
Yeah, so little bits and pieces get stuck in here.
Right. So a little installation error. It should always be that the hose, when it leaves the dishwasher, hold it right there, it should go up on the side of the cabinet and then come to this point so that when the water pumps the water up, the foodstuffs fall down this way. Because you don't want disposer foodstuff going backwards and clogging that early part of the drain.
You guys call this the high loop, right?
That's
so
right.
Nothing can get up this way.
And that's not always done, and that's often what causes this problem.
Okay.
Okay? And then the other is that the unit itself can get clogged. So there's always two racks. The bottom rack is always easy. It just comes out, okay? The top rack, so that it doesn't tip over when you pull it out, has these little clips. So each manufacturer is a little bit different, but you can see right at the end, oh, you did it.
Yeah.
Good.
I've got kids. I've had to take them apart before.
You got kids.
They don't rinse, you know?
Okay.
I'm used to it.
So now, when you look down here, here's this bottom basin, here's this rinse arm that goes around here, here's the float I talked about.
And this is the electrical element?
That's
this
the
is
electrical
heater?
element, okay? So we need to get this rinse arm off. This is the lower rinse arm. Water comes up, pushes through here, but also pushes up through this back manifold right here to a middle rinse arm on this unit and also a top one. But right here is where food comes down through. And so you say, oh, so if there was a big chunk of food, like meat gristle or something like that, it could clog this. And if it clogged it enough, it just wouldn't get it out of there. But there's also an additional filter and a grinder out of sight down just below this rinse arm.
So is there an easy way to get to it, or is it a little bit of a disassembly required?
A little bit of disassembly. There's only one tool really that you need, and that is a T15, a Torx head screw.
Right.
So these screws are unique. And I'm going to take it, we're going to dive in now and show you. Now, you want to save these screws and don't drop them into
Well, go down the drain,
bad
right?
place.
I'll be in charge of them.
Okay.
So I get that one out. I can. Yeah.
Some units have 3 screws with the T15 head. Some have 4, and the 4th one is underneath this back arm. I think this one's only got 3. Let's see. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So now, see this elaborate rinse cycle is pretty. There's clips. You see, we can break them out. Okay.
That's detached.
Okay. Now come here. Come to this side.
To you?
Yeah. Okay. There it is.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be fine. Good.
Now, is this guy going to pop off?
Yeah. So now this one is a screw that is clockwise to loosen. It's a left-handed screw. Oh, there's all kinds of good stuff in here. Oh, wait till you see what I'm going to find in here.
The ghost of Christmas past.
Yes.
Or I should say the turkey leg of Christmas past. Okay. Oh, lovely.
Oh, look at what we found.
So let me get this stuff out of the way.
So, plastics. Here's your English muffin container sealer.
Oh, a couple of them.
Couple of them, okay. So if enough of these got in here, here's the sort of the grinder, the impeller, okay. And so this wants to all be clean because it's all trying to drive down through that these small holes. See them?
So this is part of the draining mechanism in here. It's not just out here.
So you would clean that, clean everything you can to keep here's plastics, more plastics. Okay.
So are you thinking that you only clean this when you see the basin fill and the discharge slow, or are you the kind of guy who says, I'm going to do this just before the guests come every holiday season?
I don't know if you do it proactively because it's much more prone to have the disposer be the issue. This does a pretty good job of controlling the biggest pieces. I mean,
Right.
you know, so.
But this is something a homeowner can do.
Something that you could do. It takes a bit of courage to do it, but you know, you can get at it. You know, make sure that you don't run the dishwasher. You can't run the dishwasher when the door's open, anyways. So it's really just a question of cleaning this, save the screws, don't let them drop into the drain connection, and then carefully put it back together again, and you should be fine.
And so what would cause, if we solve the leak problem, what would cause the dishes not to dry properly or as quickly as they should?
Well, one of the net side effects of getting more and more efficient is that we use less and less energy. So the heater is less inside. It used to be that there was a much more substantial heater inside this that could dry the dishes more readily. So it's going to always be more of an air drying thing. And you know, when you have dishes that catch water in it, that means there's standing water in that's going to work against you. I will tell you that if it's a stainless steel basin, the stainless steel will actually help you a little bit because the moisture in the air will condense on the stainless much more readily than on the plastic instead of the glasses. So stainless would be a little bit better for it, but you're never going to get what you once got, I think, in drying of the dishes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I can't fix that one.
All right. Well, that's good info. I'll help you put this back together.
right.
And listen, let's face it. I cook, you clean.
Always.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.